Ultimate Doom stands tall as one of the most iconic video games of all time. Yet despite this, what many consider a good Doom level is up for debate. No two players will ever fully agree on what makes a top tier Doom level. Last time I checked out the levels that Doom players on Tier Maker had ranked as the absolute worst in Ultimate Doom and discussed what they did to earn that spot. This time round I wanted to flip the script and look at the levels that ranked top among players. Thanks to the community ranking over on Tier Maker, we can see the levels that those gamers chose as their best. I'll be taking the top 7 tiered levels and I'll be looking at each one, giving my thoughts on what they do right, what they do wrong, and if they deserve their high placing on the community ranking. Small disclaimer, remember that this is just my personal opinion. This is not me speaking for the community or saying anything factual. If you disagree with anything I say, I'd love to hear what levels you consider the best in the comments. Let's get a good discussion about Doom going. But if you're ready, let's dive into... Unto the Cruel feels like a well-deserved lap of honour. It throws enemies at you with wild abandon, gives plenty of weapons and ammo to have fun with, and doesn't feel like it's holding back. The previous 3 boss levels in Ultimate Doom are kind of lacking in various ways, and, whilst great arenas for facing off against the boss enemies, fell down as levels themselves. Some of the battles in this level are intense, and the numbers dwarf what most levels offer in terms of sheer body count. That's how a final level should be. By the time you face off against the Spider Mastermind, you're pumped for battle and you're surrounded by various other enemies who are looking to take you out as well. It feels like a true final battle. Plus I think this is one of the better looking levels in Thy Flesh Consumed. There's a lot of interesting architecture at play here and a lot of contrasts which really help to make this feel like a nice varied level to look at. But yeah, I find it hard to argue against the position that this has been placed in the ranking. It's a really good level, so I agree. Halls of the Damned, in my eyes, is one of the best Ultimate Doom levels. It throws so many ideas at the wall but manages to marry them together in a package that's so much fun. From the dark maze that's filled with pinkeys, through to the fake exit that I'm sure has caught out many new players over the years. What I like about this level is that it challenges the player to clear areas, fail to keep the monsters under control, and you'll find yourself overwhelmed and without ammo in no time. But if you're smart and you learn the layout, it's easy to get through this level without causing yourself too much stress. What I really like about this level as well is how it mixes up the visuals, from the outdoor area at the start, which is quite striking, through to the tech-based interiors, all the way to the dark maze, and even to the brick texture work in the corrupted parts of the base. There's a nice variety on offer here. This is one of those levels that's just fun to get stuck into and explore at your own leisure. There's so much to discover, and it's well worth taking the time to uncover it all. Yeah, I think this deserves its place on the ranking. Hangar may be the most popular level in Knee Deep in the Dead, but for my money, Toxin Refinery is the first true powerhouse of this episode. From the opening room, this level goes full force on the player, throwing everything at them to create a stern but satisfying challenge. Each room feels like a battle as you march your way towards the blue key, then you have to turn around and march yourself back across the level to complete it. There's a lot of set piece moments in this level that help to make things memorable. Walking into the outdoor area for the first time, which provides hazards for new and veteran players alike, the lights that go out when you pick up the blue key, the stairs that rise slowly and force you to face off against imps and shotgunners. That's not even talking about the stacks of secrets that heavily reward the player with new weapons and even an entire secret level. I could go on and on about this level, but really for me this is a top tier level and in my opinion it's very much worthy of that praise. Pandemonium being top tier surprises me a bit. I don't have anything against this level, but at the same time I don't hold it up among the best levels in Ultimate Doom. It's a fun level that isn't obnoxiously large. It has a few nice rooms that provide solid challenges. There's also little mazes on either side of the shotgun room that lead to the blue key and BFG. The mixture of Baron and Imps is a nice one and creates a nice battle towards the end of the level. In fact, there are quite a few fun rooms in this one that I really enjoyed battling through. Aesthetically, I think this level fits in with the rest of this episode. It's very abstract at points, but it mixes together the military base and the hell aesthetic pretty nicely. One thing I can praise, however, is the level's design. There's multiple ways to get through this level, and if you're really good at what you're doing, you can get through this level in under a minute if you really want to, but why would you want to skip all those secrets? It's much better than the first 2 levels of Inferno, but let's be honest, I don't personally think this is top tier at all. Sorry Pandemonium fans. Perfect Hatred is an onslaught for the player. The opening can be best described as chaos. Imps, pinkies and cacodemons will be barreling down upon you within seconds, and there's not much room to fight them in. New players will definitely be overwhelmed on their first few attempts. They won't find the rest of the level easy either, as there's a ton of tight corridors, tall staircases and even high platforms that sit atop pain floors. It's a very brutal level. There are a ton of tanky enemies on this one, with multiple barons, pinkies and even a cyber demon who you have to navigate past in order to defeat. Luckily the level has a ton of ammo and weapons for you to uncover, so it's nowhere near as painful as the level before it. This isn't a bad level, but it has way too many baron battles in cramped environments and relies a bit too much on gimmicks for my liking. I know this is a fan favourite among some of the more hardcore Doom gamers, but the fact that Romero even admitted this took 6 hours to make kinda shows. It doesn't feel completely balanced in my opinion. Against Thee Wickedly is very much a love it or hate it level. This level has a grand feel to it that few other levels manage in Ultimate Doom. Along the way you'll find lots of items, weapons, ammo and an ever increasing number of enemies to come up against. Things start quite easy, but things get very intense as the level picks up. I'd even say the central teleporter puzzle isn't that much of an issue here because it's kept simple and easy to understand. But there's a natural build in this level and it feels like you're building up to something quite epic, which happens when you face off against the cyber demon at the level's end. What really sinks this level for me though is the overuse of pain floors. This level is very stingy with rad suits, but a whole lot of the areas in this level require you to jump onto pain floors in order to progress, and because there's a bunch of enemies in these areas, you're gonna get killed quite a lot. It's bombastic, it's iconic, and it looks amazing to boot. This is a true icon of Ultimate Doom, even if those pain floors bring it down a few steps for me. I can see why people put it in this top tier. Mount Erebus is such a unique level in Ultimate Doom. Rather than forcing you into a linear path, this level throws its design wide open and lets you explore a wide level to your heart's content. And because of this, the level's difficulty really depends on how much you're willing to explore and make use of the weapons that the level gives you, and there are a lot of weapons to find. Visually, this level pushes the hell aesthetic as far as I think you possibly can with the original Doom engine. There's a lot of abstract texture work going on here, including skulls, lots of flashing textures, and just a lot of things that you won't really understand what they are. There's a ton of enemies, loads of monster closets, and a whole heap of places that you'll be fighting all the enemies on this level. And because of the non-linear route that the level takes, you're able to choose the path that works best for your playstyle. It's such a unique experience and really showcases what Doom can do when the level design isn't constrained. Honestly, I can understand totally why this ended up in the top tier. It really stands alone, but ultimately it doesn't really matter what I or anyone else thinks about these levels. Most of these levels have been enjoyed by millions and millions of people, and everyone's going to have their own opinion on which is the best and which is the worst. I'd love to hear which levels you consider the absolute best of Ultimate Doom, and I'd love to hear the reasons behind those. What experiences have you had that made you come to those decisions?